Afghanistan is one of the countries hit by extreme human rights crisis we've been all hearing about this year in the news. But in comparison to other regions, the dramatic scenes you just saw in the video after the Taliban took the power again was viral, first of all, but at the same time horrific. The moments we have seen also during the evacuation attempts at the Kabul's airport have shocked us all, but unfortunately, and more importantly, it left many Afghans in despair. Even though we'll focus on how challenging it is to work as a journalist under the Taliban, we will basically talk with somebody who managed to escape all of this after obviously dramatic experience. And his name is Khushal Asefi. He's an Afghan reporter who's currently in Germany, safe. How it was, I have to ask you this. You probably shared this story so many times, but besides shocking, what was basically the first thing you experienced after hearing the Taliban are back? My life is in danger. I won't be able to work as a journalist. What was going on, or what was going on through your head at that point?
First of all, hello to everybody, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm very happy. Well, this was, like a dream, something suddenly changed on 15th of August 2021. This was a dramatic disaster from my perspective. Because everything changed in how we couldn't expect that the world will collapse soon. But this happened. I suffered a lot. I tried to continue my work as a journalist in Afghanistan for more than 2 months, but self-censorship, lack of access to information, lack of financial resources, having no hope for the future in Afghanistan, and uncertain and dark future pushed me to leave Afghanistan. Then I left Afghanistan and just came to Germany. Everything was actually demolished, destroyed in Afghanistan: human rights, education, health sector, especially the media. We had a very free media in the region, in comprehension of our neighbor countries like Pakistan, Iran, and other countries. We were free, and we had freedom of expression in the past. But by 15th of August, there is no freedom of expression in Afghanistan. It's only the symbol. It's only an appearance, but not the fact and the reality what is happening on the ground in Afghanistan. Because media is now being controlled by the Taliban. There is a self-censorship. No media station in Afghanistan dare to broadcast, publish the reality and facts on the ground. We all do believe as a journalist that accuracy, neutrality, and impartiality and the speed are the 3 principles and value of journalism. But nowadays in Afghanistan, these 3 principles and values are under the question, strongly under the question, because there is something going on. Every day there are news in Afghanistan, happenings, incidents, explosions, and many things to be published. But the media in Afghanistan, radio station, TV station, print media, electronics media, can't dare to publish because they will be punished, they will be tortured, or they will be asked by the Taliban that what you are doing now, what you're doing now. It's not republic now. It's Emirat, state of Emirat of Taliban, because they can't tolerate what the TV and radio are broadcasting and publishing in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, what's the current situation? I know you're not in Afghanistan anymore. I mean, we're hearing contradictory information, to be honest. Recently, we heard about some cases of your colleagues being beaten while reporting on protests. Then we know that a lot of women are actually not allowed to work as reporters anymore. But what's the information you can share with us at this moment?
Give you some numbers, and these numbers you can easily justify and understand what is the reality on the ground. Since the collapse of Kabul, 15 August, 153 radio stations and TV stations shut down and closed their doors in Afghanistan. 30 cases of violation has been registered in a Media Watch report recently. 67% of Afghan journalists left their jobs, left their country. 33 remain or working under the strong pressure, and 40% of journalists have concern about their safety in Afghanistan. Only in west of Afghanistan, in Herat province, 20 TV stations, 22 radio stations is closed. The situation nowadays in Afghanistan is bad, and it's getting worse day by day. To be honest, let me clarify that journalism in Afghanistan has lost its nature and value nowadays, because there is a strong self-censorship, there is a lack of access to information, there is a lack of financial resources. Just let me give you an example. Some days before, there was an explosion in the second district of Kabul. After 2 hours of that incident and happening, there was no media to cover that. What happened? Why happened? What are the casualties? How many people died? How many people injured? So there were no details. Then look to this, that what is going on in the ground. Recently, the Taliban has announced a new statement of having 8 articles. For example, the Taliban said that drama which women played a role cannot be published and aired by TV station in Afghanistan, the drama in Syria. Like no comedy show can be aired that they would target our top management or our top leaders in the government. Like female journalists must have Islamic hijab. What all the Taliban is saying, everything they say that everything should be an Islamic frame, an Islamic chart. But actually, there is no clear definition of Islamic chart, Islamic frame. What they are saying is not what Islam is saying. This is the problem. But I am thinking of direct contact with my colleagues in Kabul and other provinces. The remaining journalists are trying to flee from the country, to leave the country, because we have an uncertain and dark future as a realistic person. To be saved.
Mm-hmm. As we're running out of time, I really need a brief answer on the following question, which is a little bit hypothetical, and it is what we as media professionals and journalists from Western countries and international community can do to improve the situation in Afghanistan or change for the better.
To improve the situation from international community, they have to help financially some TV station and radio station in Afghanistan. The main problem, one of the factors is that TV and radio stations are about to collapse and they are about to shut down, is having no money. Because before they had projects, they had money, they had commercial in radio and TV, but now there is no commercial, there is no income. One, all the TV station and radio stations are about to close their doors. The second, they have to support freedom of expression, the freedom of media in Afghanistan. This is the job duty of international community, European countries, United Nations, that have to support the freedom of speech in Afghanistan, not only by saying, but practically they have to support the journalists, they have to support media inside the country, and they must help those journalists that they are trying to flee from the country because they feel they do not feel safe there and they are concerned about their future. So as, for example, Germany helped a lot some journalists, some human rights defenders inside Kabul and other provinces to evacuate and help them to leave the country. European Union and other countries must also do the same, that they have to help the journalists and media inside the country.
Khushal, thank you for this story. I wish you a great career in Germany. We will continue this conversation for sure, since Afghanistan will keep us busy in the following weeks and months. Stay tuned, more to come.